Boom. My favorite. Hey, look at you firing all cylinders. I hear you. That silly will blow his wig.
I would be focused on really good plans. That's what I'd be trying to do.
Cut to it. Let's get down to it. Cut to it. Cut to it. Cut to it. Let's get down to it.
Hey, hit that subscribe button. We got a special day. We got Franchise Tag Friday. Now, I understand that the franchise tag would already happen, but I'm going to head and call my shot just to let you know how good of a football player and analysis guy I am and understanding the money game of the NFL. It's really becoming a big business. We know that, but just be able to talk about it. We're gonna try to talk about all the 32 teams who have a franchise tag. We're even going to talk about the New England Patriots. Is Jacoby Brissett, not Jacoby Brissett, Jacoby Myers, is he worth that tag number? So, franchise tag. Now, I'm discovering this. Now, I know all of you guys that know that are going to be like, well, Steve, I know the franchise tag. Well, guess what, rocket scientists? I don't. So, I'm going to talk about for the people that are out there, including myself, what the franchise tag is, because I've never experienced a franchise tag. So I don't know what it entails and why. So, hey.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
If a team came to you, and I don't even know how that conversation goes, but if you got franchise tagged, would you be upset? Would you be offended? Would you be happy for the guaranteed money? What do you think your reaction would be?
That's a fantastic question. Let me go to this. Hey, pop this up and let's pop up the franchise tag price tags to know. So quarterbacks, their franchise tag, $32.416 million. $32 million. Linebackers, $20 million. $20,926,000. Wide receivers, $19,743,000. Can I get a hells yeah? DN, $19,727,000. D tackles, 18.9, 18.2 for O linemen. Cornerbacks, 18.1. Safeties, 14.4. That's pretty low if you think about it. Tight ends, 11.3. Running backs, wow, 11. Below 11 says $10 million. And I guess it just says ST, so that'd be special teams.
Yeah.
$5.3 million. Man, that's a pretty good franchise tag. If you a special teams are 5.3, because you know darn well you ain't making that much money. But so here's the franchise tags. Teams will have the ability to tag one pending unrestricted free agent from their current 2022 roster starting on February 21st. 2023. Obviously, that has happened at 4 p.m. Eastern through March 7th, tomorrow. Now, I know we're recording this early, but I'm just calling my shot. Tagging players have until July 15th of 2023 to negotiate and, most importantly, complete a multi-year contract extension. So, let's go through this real quick. No, not real quick, but quick enough. So let's talk about quarterbacks. If you haven't known, Derek Carr has signed with with the New Orleans Saints.
Yep.
He just made them better. So someone, Brian Baltasevich Media, producer here in Charlotte, says, what'd you say, Brian? He goes, what does that mean for Jameis? That brother's unemployed. He's packing his bags. That's what it means. He ain't coming back here because Jason Tatum.
Take a breath.
Tatum Hill, the running back, the Swiss Army knife. Taysom Hill. You know what? He restructured. So guess what? Odd man out, Jameis Winston.
Mm-hmm.
They're not re-signing Jameis Winston, or if he is on the current roster, he will be cut. So, Washington Commanders, Deron Payne. Do they franchise tag him?
So that's a much larger number. What's that? Is he's
No,
D-line?
he's actually
Is he D-line or D-tackle? Or D-end?
He's defense interior.
Okay. So a little better.
So he'll be D tackle. So that 18 million.
18.
I mean, let's just say 19.
Yeah.
They run it 19 million. Do you sign him? He's so intricate and a beast in this D line, and we all know they got Eric Bieniemy. They're gonna get this off. They're trying to get this offense together, but this defense is what keeps them in games.
Definitely, and with Chase Young not showing the Chase Young fully yet that we expect, injury, but not like what I'm saying for pro Payne. He's been out there. He's been playing. He has the stabilizer kind of that line. So I think he's integral. I would be trying to sign him just so we can't hit or franchise him just so we can't hit outright free agency. But I would much rather have a long-term deal worked out there than have him play for 1 year.
Okay. All right. So something interesting. So 8 players were on franchise tags last year, and 30 have been over the past 3 years combined. Half of these 8 went on to sign multi-year deals before July 15th deadline, while the other 4 played this season on franchise tags. Listen to this. Jesse Bates III in Cincinnati, Dalton Schwartz with tight end for the Cowboys, Orlando Brown Jr. for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Mike Gesicki for the Miami Dolphins, right? I don't see Mike Gesicki coming back. They just didn't utilize him whatsoever. I don't know why or what happened, but he's gonna make a lot of money, and he's gonna get back to what he was before Mike McDaniels got to Miami. Orlando Brown is gonna make a lot of money. They have to pay him Kansas City, whether they want to or not. He balled out, and just the tackle position is so hard to fill. He's gonna get paid. Jesse Bates, I think he walks. What do you think? You think Jesse Bates walks?
I do. He might not even leave the state from things I've read. He might just be going over to Cleveland. But it's like the Cincinnati's been pretty loud about the fact that they don't think they're going to lose T. Higgins. They'll run out of money somewhere. So if they're going to keep T. Higgins, I don't know that they can keep Bates too. And they drafted kind of like that slot corner safety out of Michigan last year. Dax Hill. They may have been looking long term with him taking over at the safety spot for Bates.
This is Bandit. He founded Underdog Fantasy so that humans who really love sports could play with their friends and win some big prizes. Tell your human to go to UnderdogFantasy.com today.
All right, Buffalo Bills. Tremaine Edmonds, $20 million. So they got to tag him or Jordan Poyer. This is really interesting, and I'll break down both of these guys, and then you tell me who. Okay, off this. Tremaine Edmonds, I like him. I think he's a fantastic player. I also think he's out of position at times, right? He gets gobbled up reading the wrong keys. He makes a lot of tackles. He's very active, but there's a lot of mistakes on his part. Jordan Poyer, he's been injured a lot. Mm-hmm. He plays such a physical type of football. You can't sit here and say we can pay him and tag Tremaine or tag Jordan and then pay Tremaine. Somebody's going to have to give. In my personal opinion, I think they possibly tag Edmonds, Tremaine Edmonds, and let Poyer walk.
So I think they don't tag either of them is my stance.
Say it ain't so, bro.
Well, I think Poyer wants to be there, and they can work out a long-term deal without tagging him. And I don't think Edmonds wants to be there, and I think they don't want to spend $20 million on a linebacker. That's kind of one of the questions I had going into this. Not as a player, but if you were a team exec right now, which of these numbers are you looking at? Not even players, but which of these positions and which numbers are you just going, oh, there's no one good enough for me to justify tying up that much cap space, $20 million to a linebacker or $18 million to a D tackle?
So if I'm really the GM, and that's what you're saying, you're throwing me GM Smitty, it doesn't matter what my personal opinion is. That's the going rate. No, what I
Sure.
will try to do, right. So what I will try to do is give you your APY in a creative way that doesn't hamstring our cap, but it does give us leverage in case we pay you and your production starts to slip, that we can get out, not have too much dead money on our cap, but also kind of be flexible. And now that's hard to do,
Right.
But you got a $228 million salary cap now, which is significantly different than what it was 2 years ago and a year ago. So you have some bandwidth, but you got to understand when signing some of these players, especially some of these hybrid type of players, Tremont is not the normal linebacker that's, 250, 245 pounds. I don't know how big he is, but he's hybrid. Like he runs sideline to sideline, but he is not a guy. He's not a guy like he's one of those guys where you have to have, that's why Ed Oliver is so important. You got to have guys, big guys up front that could take on the blockers. So the only person that he's tackling is the back.
Mm-hmm.
He's not taking on pulling guards and tackles and centers. He's able to hit the guy right in the backfield. Right? And what I mean by that is we're talking about Tennessee Titans, who have a guy that he's a D tackle where they got a franchise tag him because they let go of Cunningham. They got some linebackers and some defensive players. They got to have a guy that's disruptive to keep your linebackers clean to hit the back. Jesse Bates, $15.4 million. Do you tag him? And you say no.
No, I think he's been really good for them, and it's not like a knock on him. I think right now they view that strength as Burrow and the two receivers, and they want to have as much money to keep that trio alive as long as possible.
Okay. All right. So we go to Dallas Cowboys. Tony Pollard or Dalton Schultz?
I think it came out today that they were franchising Pollard, if I read that correctly.
Yeah, no, I just throwing it out there. Like you what would you do?
Yeah. I think I saw they're paying to franchise Pollard. They're now paying
$10 million.
Yeah, so I think Zeke's around 19, at least against their cap.
All right.
So it's 29 to 2 running backs. I don't know that that's how I'd want to be operating modern football.
So you tag Pollard, and what do you do with Zeke? You let Zeke you release him?
Yeah,
Man,
if that's going to free up space.
Absolutely not. I think that'd be a darn mistake because here's why. Pollard he had a broken ankle.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta let him rehab. You gotta let him get in football shape. He's not gonna be in football shape. That ankle is gonna take a lot of time. He got it injured late in the season. So if it's late in the season, he's not going to be ready September 1st.
No.
He's not, or September 10th or the 11th. He's not going to be ready.
There are other running backs.
Trial by error, there's other running backs.
Sure. But it's also like, all right, if we're committed to paying Pollard, which we know they are.
Yeah.
Like there's 50 other spots we got to get filled up here.
I agree, but I'm also saying, is Pollard an every down back then?
I think towards the second half of last year, he took the lion's share of snaps from Zeke. He took over that RB1 spot.
Yes, but he wasn't every down though.
No, I don't know that anyone has that philosophy anymore. Even with San Francisco.
Do.
Look where that's getting them.
I didn't say it was a good plan.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I would be focused on really good plans. That's what I'd be trying to do. So it's like you look at San Francisco. They went out and they traded a lot of draft capital to get CMC in there.
Yeah,
and even still, when Elijah came back, they were working him in. So it's like I don't know that having a bell cow is the way to do it anymore. So that's where it's like, listen, I know Pollard's not going to be ready. He's not going to be ready for camp. All that. I need some like what was one of their problems last year? They didn't have that wide receiver 2 to go along with CD because they had to get rid of Amari Cooper because they were paying Zeke.
No, they
money.
Man, they got rid of Amari Cooper because they just felt like Amari Cooper was holding them back. That's what they did. That was a
decision.
That was a decision. I don't know if that was a great decision, but that was a decision. All right, Denver Broncos. Draymond Jones, $19 million, defensive D tackle, interior line. I mean, I don't really know with the Denver Broncos. You got to get Russell Wilson done. You got to get Russell Wilson fixed, right? The defense is good, but you got a lot of offensive problems, and I think that offensive line is, to be desirable. The offensive line is not great.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I know Draymond's really good, but I'm probably trying to work out something where I'm paying him like 12 a year. Save me that 7. I can use that elsewhere. That's what I'd be hoping to do. So I'd say no to the franchise tag.
Okay, Jacksonville Jaguars, Evan Ingram, $11.3 million. They're saying they're indicating or Jawan Taylor at 18, offensive tackle. What do you do?
I'd probably go with the tackle. Because it also seems like I'm trying to read these guys as individuals too. Evan Ingram seems to really love it in Jacksonville. Yeah. I would imagine I can work out something 3-4 year deal with him.
Well, he made $9 million last year, and he's going to make $3 million. Well, actually $2 million more on 1 year franchise. He bet it on himself. Mm-hmm. But here's my question: was it Evan Ingram the in the right system, or is he banking on, you know what? I'm a hot commodity. I'm moving on. I could do this anywhere.
Maybe he does just want that payday, but he carried that team down the stretch as they were fighting.
Evan Ingram?
As from the receiving standpoint, he became their wide receiver 1 that last 4 or 5 weeks of the
season.
season.
They force-fed him a little bit, too. I wouldn't necessarily...
Sure, but he was producing.
That's true.
You can force-feed someone and they stink. You know what I mean? Like that's...
Hey, look at you firing all cylinders. I hear you. I want that same energy when we get down the line now when we start talking about some of the other guys. All right. Orlando Brown, $19 million. I think that's a discount.
Honestly, based on how he's been talking the last 2 years, like he wants to be paid like the top left tackle in football. And the Chiefs leave him on an island more than any other left tackle in football. So like he produces. Like people will point to him getting beat. Like, yeah, he's not getting help like really anyone else in the league. So yeah, I would franchise him if they're worried the play might fall off in like 5 years. They don't want to give him that huge contract. Yeah, I just franchise him.
I think they find a middle ground. I think that's what I think. All right. Las Vegas Raiders, $10 million with Josh Jacobs. If I'm Josh Jacobs, I ain't signing that thing.
No.
I ain't signing that with your pen and your fingers.
This is why I can't ever really take the Raiders all that serious. This would be his 5th year. They could just have this, but they didn't pick up his option. So now they're faced with losing him for nothing or paying him 10 guaranteed, and he'll be disgruntled the whole time. So I don't know.
And
maybe
they ain't got no quarterback. I don't see him signing. They don't have no quarterback. They fumbled that bag. They screwed that up. Put Stidham out there looking like he looked like Jared Stidham, the next coming. And then a week and a half later, when teams got a real game plan against him, that boy he looked like Stidham.
Yeah,
just that he don't even get no first name, just Stidham. Right? It was terrible. All right, so. Your New England Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Jacoby Myers, $19.74 million. Do you franchise tag him?
No.
Why not? Do tell.
18's a big number for...
I'm sorry, it's 19.
19's a big number for, again, in a great offense. Jacoby's your wide receiver 3. He could play some wide receiver 2. But in like a truly great offense, he's a wide receiver 3. You're going to pay that guy 19? That feels like a hard sell. He's better than that. He's for sure better than that.
Just a guy?
Yeah, he's better than that.
What is he? Just a guy plus one? Is he tier 2?
PFF, tier 2? PFF's right up of him. They've got him as like the 31st of all wide receivers. Yeah. So that's not terrible. There's 32 teams, so they're saying he's a wide receiver 1 by that logic. I don't know. That's what I mean. I don't agree either, but it's like, from what I've been reading, the Patriots are saying that go out there, see what you can get, and we'll try and match it. Yeah, and if we can match it, we will. I think they want to keep him here, but
Yeah.
not for $19 million.
Yeah.
If they could pay him $19 million for like 3 years of work, I'm sure they'd do that no problem.
10-year deal. All right. New York Giants. This is interesting. So they've indicated they're going to franchise tag Daniel Jones. I like Daniel Jones for $32 million. Now, word on the street is he's looking for 40, up in the 40s. His agent leaves the combine with no deal in sight. However, you got Saquon Barkley. They can tag at $10 million. If you tag, I believe if you're tagging Daniel Jones, that means that they're extremely close at solidifying a contract with Saquon Barkley. That's my assumption. But I don't see tagging Daniel Jones and letting Saquon Barkley walk. I mean, maybe they do. I'm surprised because if they do, because I would say for Daniel Jones to even have a hint of success, it's because of the presence and the playmaking ability of Saquon Barkley.
It's Barkley and it's Dayball, so I very much understand why there's another team. If they had just picked up his 5th-year option, they don't have to make this decision right now. They can just tag Saquon and be done with it. But they didn't believe in him. Now his agency's making him pay, which I don't blame them one bit. They're doing their job. I would still probably.
So who you franchise tagging?
I'm putting Daniel Jones on that Kirk Cousins plan, where I'm going to franchise you as many years in a row as I can, and then if someone else wants to pay you a lot of money, we'll move on. I'm not giving him a 5-year deal.
Do you sign Saquon? Do you solidify Saquon by giving a franchise tag to Daniel Jones?
Yeah, because even top-end running backs, I think CMC makes the most. I think he's around 16, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. And then I think Derrick Henry and Zeke are in like the 12s. So it's like if Saquon's looking for like 13, is that really going to kill? Like, because it's like 10 point whatever fully guaranteed. So if I can give Saquon $1 million base salary, but a $13 million signing bonus, that actually opens up more cap space for me. So I can pay him more, keep him here longer, and have a little bit more. Now that cap space will come down the road. It will come calling, but that's tomorrow's problem. It's not today's problem.
My favorite. Tomorrow's price is not today's price is not tomorrow's price, whatever you say. All right, Javon Hargrave, $18 million for the Philadelphia Eagles. You tag him? You tag him, or do you tag Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for $14 million as a price tag?
I don't think I'm tagging.
Hargraves alone had 12.6 quarterback, 12.6. So let's say almost 13% quarterback pressure rate. Longer career high 11 regular season sacks in the conference championship against the 49ers.
That might be a guy I toss a transition tag on, because I feel like if I'm the Eagles, I already believe in, we talk about systems for offensive players, but if I'm the Eagles, I very much believe in my front seven. And so it's like, all right,
so that transition,
we'll take you for this
that's
number.
$16 million.
That's 16 or 2 first-round picks. If someone out there would rather pay him because he can go out and negotiate.
For a D lineman, 2 first-round picks? Ooh.
That's what I mean. So it's like, I would like him to be here. Do I want to pay you 19? Not necessarily. Do I want to pay you 16? That sounds better. Or if someone else wants you, I'll take 2 first.
Here's an interesting one because I watched him. Mike McGlinchey, $18 million. Do you franchise tag him? He was up and down, man. He was up and down. He struggled at times.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. I got Trent Williams. Well, it's like I got Trent Williams. I put all my money into Trent Williams, so I think I'm all set.
Yeah, but he's playing on the other side, though.
For sure, I get that. I just don't.
Oh, so
I think I'm going.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you hit me with for sure.
I'm going
That's
into the
cool.
draft.
That's cool.
I didn't think he was playing like behind him.
All right. Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith, $32 million. You let him walk or you franchise tag him?
Oh, no, I'm franchise tagging him for sure. I don't even know if I'm all that in a rush to work out a long-term deal. It's like I can franchise you again after this. I think that's perfect. And then if you're still cooking, then we can talk. But I'm not in a huge rush. We're happy you did it. It's not even a let me see it again thing. It's just like, I'm not in a huge rush.
Okay. All right. Surprisingly, man, Jamel Dean for Tampa Bay Buccaneers, $18 million. Here's the thing. His coverage only trails Jair Alexander, Jalen Ramsey, and Sauce Gardner. Like he's ranked in coverage. He's like ranked 11th in press coverage. Pretty impressive. He balled out this year, man.
Tampa's just in such a weird spot. Like from where I'm sitting, I want them to tear it down so bad. Just start from scratch. Just tear it down, start from scratch. So I don't want to lose that guy for nothing either, though.
Yeah.
Like if I'm trying to rebuild, if I'm trying to tear it down and rebuild, get him in that franchise and then try and trade him before the draft.
So I'm gonna just call my shot, man. I think the New York Giants have already worked out a deal with Saquon Barkley, and they're gonna franchise tag Daniel Jones. And I think it's gonna be interesting with Dean because they've had so many different variations with injuries in their secondary, right? You need to solidify some kind of stability. However, you also have some offensive line issues. You just lost your quarterback. So you're going to have to overpay for somebody, or you don't have any money, so you're going to have to go on the cheap. Like a Taylor Heineke, I think is a great guy to bring in Tampa Bay as a quarterback on the cheap, and then that allows you with Dean to go ahead and franchise tag him and get your team in order and let your defense kind of play to your strength of your defense, right? Try to get some free agencies on the cheap and then hope for the best. that's because they just don't have a lot of they don't have a lot of cap space. They don't have a lot of, all the stuff that's happened with with TB12 leaving and just what the expectations was for this team. All right, David Long Jr., linebacker, Tennessee Titans, $20 million, almost $21 million, $20,926,000. This dude can play. It'll be interesting with this team because they're changing philosophies. They already released Taylor Wan. I think the Tennessee Titans are in a place where they're going to have to decide what kind of team are they going to be. Are they going to be this keep away football that they're trying to be, which is not going to – it doesn't go – the type of football they're playing is not championship football like the Super Bowl. It's championship football. It used to be in the AFC South when the Indianapolis Colts weren't very good, but they seem to be on the trend up. The Jacksonville Jaguars, where they were trash, but they're on the trending up. They got a great coach because Urban Meyers is no longer there. The Houston Texans got their defense is solidified. They got a good coach, young coach, vibrant, very. I think his peripheral vision of the team and the organization, he understands where it needs to be. Are the Tennessee Titans in for a blow up because they need a quarterback? King Henry is not a guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's not a guy that you can run and shoot. He gets better as you give him the ball, 30, 40 carries. But you can't give him 30, 40 carries and also develop your wide receivers and your passing game. The Tennessee Titans, for me, even if they do franchise tag David Long, I think they got to blow this thing up and blow it up quickly.
Yeah, I view them a lot very similarly to Tampa in just tear it down, try and move. No, it's not. But it's like you also they switched up everything in the front office too. So whoever drafted David Long isn't there anymore. So they may not value him the same.
Yeah,
they not,
Robinson.
But
he's still a good
position.
player though.
Definitely. But
That's
you even
true.
see with the Bears last year, they had Roquan and they could still use Roquan, and they have the cap space to pay him, but they were like, you know what, this pick means more to us at this stage of the game than Roquan's talents. So these are the kind of the thoughts, at least in my mind, that should go into it. It's like, what does a linebacker do for us if we're trying to bottom out and get Caleb Williams or something like that?
Hey, man. So listen, I hope you enjoy it. We just trying to call our shot, talk about Fantasy Tag Friday, just a little bonus episode. I'm Steve Smith Sr. on Cut to It.
Coley Mick.
Cut to it. Let's get down to it. Cut to it.